one-word reaction to Raiders Madden ratings, okay? You're only allowed one word, so don't cheat. So comment below your one-word reaction to the Raiders on Madden. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, I want you to comment below your one-word reaction to the Raiders Madden ratings. Just like my dude Brian Jones did. He says he's reacting to these overall Madden ratings. So he says, F Madden. Just kidding. Love Madden. But this is bullshit. I play Madden, and it's BS how bad they rated the players. You know, Brian, I kind of agree with you there. So if you guys want to play Madden against Brian Jones, maybe we'll get a picture doing that. So use hashtag Raiders to get your questions here live on the show. We're doing a live Q&A on the Oakland Raiders report. And yes, it is live, and I promise you, I look down. I go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys want to share a drink with me, you want to hang out with me, an easy way to do it is being live here on the Raiders report. So I'm looking also some here at these one-word reactions. And Newt Ballinger says, dope. James says, joke. Raider Brandon says hatred. Lenny says typical. Aaron Smith says fix. So, guys, thank you so much for commenting below. Let's go to Jaquin. Yeah, Jaquin, get a picture. How many INT will Brandon Marshall get? I'm not really worried about him getting interceptions. I would say I'm going to hope for one because I don't know how many interceptions he's had his entire career. Like, Brandon Marshall has been a player who doesn't get a lot of sacks. He just racks up tackles. Now, sure, he's competing with, I think, a better linebacking core in the Broncos. As much as I hate the Broncos linebacking core is probably the strongest thing on that defense with Von Miller. So how many interceptions for Brandon Marshall? I'll say one, but I would much rather have him rack up like 80 tackles any day of the week. Let's go to Aaron Smith now here on YouTube. Can we have a top 10 defense? If Arden Key lives up to his hype, if Mo Hurst takes another step forward, if Jonathan Hankins plays essentially a little bit better than he did last year, and Cleveland Ferrell lives up to the number 4 overall pick, I think you could have a top 10 defense. I think the biggest reason why the Raiders would have a top 10 defense, though, is if Paul Gunther can really install that defense, and players like LaMarcus Joyner, Carl Joseph, and then even Jonathan Abram really all just mesh together because the talent's there. And when you have a player like Garyon Conley who's going to lock down one side of the field, the talent's there. It's just defense is one of those positions, or is the side of the ball where everybody has to work together, and there's so many new faces there. I would say let's hope for top 15, but if we can get top 10, hey, I definitely won't be mad about it. Let's go to Roberto, one of my most loyal watchers. What's up, brother? DC breaks the franchise records this season. Puts up his usual numbers, but puts up another 7-8 wins. Does Gruden keep Carr? Oh, boy, that's a tough question. I know I say all the time that, this is a prove-it year for Derek. I think Derek needs to win games. And I'm not as much worried about stats because the NFL doesn't really care about stats as much as, let's say, somebody who plays fantasy football or as much as fans do. They care about wins, and if I'm the Raiders and I know that I can cut Derek and save, and it's only going to cost me $5 million this year or $2.5 the following year, I think it's all about wins for Derek. So Robert, sorry, I can't read. I thought it was a really good question, man, and appreciate the super chat. All right, let's go to another comment here. How can I make the show better? That's from me, probably if I don't read off my own questions. So I want you guys to comment below, how can I make my show better? I want the show to be more about you than it is me, and the way to do that is by you guys commenting below. So I want you guys to tell me how I can possibly make this show better. And if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, everybody, please weigh in. Now, I want to give a special shout out to some people on Instagram. So a few weeks ago, my buddy Ryan got married, and I told y'all to slide in his DMs and either wish him good luck or tell him to get the hell out of there. So he just came back from his honeymoon, and he sent me a screenshot of all the people that slid in his DM. So take a screenshot here. The Nation, Rudy, I know you're one of my most loyal watchers. ATL Card Collector, Caden, Tikanga, West MC Coast Life, and then also Ruben, my dude, Pete's, Murillo, and then Scorpion58. I know Scorpion58. I'm blanking on Blake. That's his real name. Shout out to you guys. I really appreciate you sliding in my dude's DMs. He was very, very happy, and it's a little bit too late, though, because he already told me he already spent so much money on his wedding. We got another super chat coming in here, looking like Tom in the picture. Who is your fantasy sleeper on the Raiders? My fantasy sleeper on the Raiders. I appreciate this question. You guys know that I like fantasy football. I think it's Darren Waller. I think when I think about a real sleeper, it's somebody that I want to get at the very end of my draft. and we saw the production that Jared Cook has put up the last 2 years. Literally, John Gruden calls Darren Waller the best kept sleeper in the entire NFL. I do think the Raiders will use Darren Waller, and if Darren Waller can be a player that goes out and let's say, I don't know, 80 targets, 90 targets, can translate that to like 50 catches for 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, that's a pretty good sleeper tight end in fantasy football. I appreciate the question, my man. Let's go to Frank, Ray? Is that how you pronounce that? Words. Hashtag Raiders. Incognito will have a blank year for the Raiders. All right, let's play a game. You want to play a game? Incognito will have a blank year for the Raiders. You're only allowed to use one word. So, Frank, I'm going to be looking down here in the comments section to see which one you're looking for. Hashtag Raiders, drink more. I probably don't need to drink anymore. Somebody says that fantastic. That's from Garrett. What else do we have? What we see on Waller, it's from Steven. All right, guys, use your one word. Frank wants to know. We have good. That's simple. That's pretty easy. All right, let's go to Jeff Rogers. If I had to say, Jeff Rogers tailgates my Raiders Report live. Like, the dude's there 2 hours before. So, Jeff, shout out to you. Will the Raiders double their sack total from last year? I'll say yes. I'll say the Raiders double their sack total from last year and go to 26. Because even at 26, you're still dead last. Like, the Raiders need to almost triple their sack total, I think, to really be a playoff contender. So, Jeff, good question. Appreciate you always watching the show. Appreciate you tailgating. When you tailgate the Raiders Report, what are you sipping on? Because today I'm sipping on some Cosmic IPA Indian Pale Ale, and it's making my mouth super freaking dry. Jason Ayers, what's up, brother? How many sacks for the D this season? I don't know if you can use sacks and D in the same sentence without getting it blocked by YouTube, so salute to you. It's a pretty good job there. How many sacks for the D this season? I'm going to go with 34. I think the Raiders can get around 34 sacks this year. They've added a lot more depth on defense. 34 is my magic number, and I want to hear from you guys, so please comment below how many sacks for the Raiders in 2019. And make sure you guys sign up with my partner, MyBookie. They sponsor the show. And if you guys want me to keep doing shows here on the Raiders Report, you need to get signed up with my partner, MyBookie. So use my promo code GORaiders for 100% deposit bonus, chatsports.com/Raiders. And I heard on a video that sometimes I put people on the show if they sign up. I will put you on the show for Chucky Heads Believe It Baby if you sign up with my partner, MyBookie, chatsports.com/Raiders. All right, let's go to Facebook here. We got Cole. Does Josh Jacobs burst onto the scene like Ezekiel Elliott and go to the Pro Bowl even though they don't have the same hype? They don't have the same hype because Josh Jacobs doesn't deserve to have the same hype that Zeke does. Zeke is one of the best running backs in the NFL. I would argue he is the best running back in the NFL. And when he was coming out of college, he was hands down the best running back in that class. I mean, he was drafted, 4th overall by the Cowboys. So I think Zeke is a very, very interesting talent. They have the great offensive line. I think Josh Jacobs can win Rookie of the Year, but I wouldn't expect 1,631 rushing yards and for Josh Jacobs to lead the league in rushing yards. Like, Zeke is just a different kind of player. Josh is great. I just don't think he's quite up to the level that Zeke is. Let's go to Aaron Smith again. Is our O-line better than the 2016 O-line? I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say no because the 2016 O-line didn't have any weaknesses. I think Colt Miller can step up. I know Gabe Jackson's going to show up, and I definitely know Rodney Hudson's there. I believe that Trent Brown's going to succeed, but it's that left guard position, right? Like, Richie Incognito, sure, if you're going to give me the 2017 or 2016 version of Richie Incognito, I'll say yeah, like there's a potential there. But the fact that our O-line isn't as solid as what it was in 2016, I'm going to go with no. So, Aaron, sorry to hurt your feelings. Now, I got a lot of questions on today's show. So what I want you to do is I want you to tweet me your questions if I missed them. If you want to use hashtag Raiders, please do. So my Twitter handle, which I would imagine you guys all know because the amount of times I say it on every show, is @MitchellRenz365. So if I missed any of your questions, okay? If I missed any of your questions, please tweet me them @MitchellRenz365. And if you don't have Twitter, I'm also on IG @MitchellRenz365. If you want to Venmo me, also @MitchellRenz365. So Raider Nation, make sure you guys tweet me your questions. See you later.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right Here, I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors, and look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.